So this is a show called Trigger and Reconfigure, and that title came from the idea that as we walk through the world and spot objects or images that intrigued us, a lot of times they were sort of odd images, they triggered an idea in us, and then we took those images back into the studio and reconfigured the image to make an all-new piece. And Antoinette Winters, who's right here, and myself, Jessica Strauss, curated the show, meaning we came up with the concept of the show and asked two other artists who we knew worked in the same way and put together this show. So in the works of mine, which are here on the wall, all of the found objects are all these little odd metal objects. Some of them people probably would recognize if they looked at them. Some of them are old kitchen implements, but some of them are absolutely mysterious what they ever were. But for me, they jumped out as something that kind of needed to be reborn into a new form. And so I just came back to my studio and I play around and think about, what could be added. In none of them did I actually alter the object. It was always an addition to it. So I'm a wood carver, so I would find a way to integrate my wood carving with the object, always by very simple, old-fashioned methods. Always things are, pegged together and friction fit to come up with a whole new thing, which, they suggest a kind of a new function, even though they actually aren't functional.
My work is two-dimensional, and as Jessica was saying, the notion of trigger and reconfigure. Some of the images in these small pieces are images that I have saved. They were images that I found very compelling for reasons that I wasn't sure about. And so I've saved them for many years in some instances, making files and just hanging on to them until such time as I knew I had some sense of what it was I wanted to do. And about a year or so ago, I started thinking of compiling these little narratives. And these images that I had been saving all of a sudden became really vital to this particular series. So for instance, you might see a wheel which was taken from a 19th century Japanese scroll pen and ink drawing, and there was something about the wheel that was just so compelling, this common object. And so that becomes an object that I use in a number of these narratives, each of them, I think, suggesting a very different story. And then in another instance, you might see a reference to a Robert Gober sink, again, an object that he's used in his own work and that I find very compelling. I'm very drawn to common objects, things that one just takes for granted. And so, so that one sees those, and I'm, as I say, drawn to that object and then find that I can reconfigure them into these new narratives.